Gen Z has a vape problem. If you guys want to go to my Discord, it's down there in the description. If you guys also want my Instagram, it's down there as well. Other than that, let's get into the video.
I'm tired of smoking batteries. And
it be so hard trying to figure out.
Dang, first 3 seconds, bro. Fire alarm, bro. I feel that though. Every place I ever lived, the fire alarms be going off. I'm surprised this place ain't start yet. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming because I ain't changing the batteries. You know what I mean? Anywho.
What do I want for lunch? Knowing deep down, I just want to vape. I just want my vape for lunch.
It's tough.
Doctors looking at me told me that in the past 6 months, I am like the third or fourth person that this has happened to. Around the same age, relatively young, but vaping.
She'll always question that thing that just pops up out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't really existing before, but out of nowhere, everybody's on it. Everybody's using it. That's always the thing that you should question. See, growing up, I seen a lot of the nicotine commercials with the lady talking like this with the hole in the throat.
I had my first cigarette when I was 13. When I found out how bad it was, I tried to quit. But I couldn't. They say nicotine isn't addictive. How can they say that?
Isn't it crazy how they sell the...
She was still hitting it. I don't remember the commercial going like that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember her still hitting it after. I thought she quit by that point. Okay. Yeah, that was a strong commercial. I ain't gonna lie. Very, very deterring.
Poison to us, and then later on sell the cure to the poison that they sold us. See, but Gen Z doesn't have a cigarette problem like they did back in the day. Every generation has its poison. The baby boomers had cigarettes, millennials had cheap alcohol and the club scene, but Gen Z got handed vapes, a colorful little device that come in fruity flavors and is sold to them as if it's harmless.
Bro, people that have the vapes that have the games on it in the screen, bro, you be seeing the videos of people on Instagram on they vape. You're cooked. You're fried, gang. You're fried, bro. By that point, you should understand, like, I'm taking my life in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? But one thing about quitting vaping, like, it really has to come down to the person. Because it really took me trying to quit multiple times in order for me to actually quit. Because I realized to myself, I can't just quit whenever I want to. Like, I thought, oh, I could just stop whenever I want to because I'm just doing it because I want to. And then when I realized I tried to quit 5 times in a row and couldn't, I was like, okay, no, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. So people have to go through that in order to actually stop, I think. I don't know. I don't know what other interventions there are.
The point where the kids are doing it. And the crazy part about it is that cigarettes are slow killers. A lot of people will smoke for decades and maybe 30 years later they have cancer. But with these little vaping devices, we're seeing these kids gasping for air like they're 70 years old. Kids that are still in their teens or early 20s. Vaping hasn't even been around for a full decade yet. This isn't a down the road type of problem. This is a right now issue. And the truth is, vapes are killing Gen Z faster than cigarettes ever did.
I am a relatively healthy, young, 24-year-old dude, and my lung collapsed on me last Saturday. I have been vaping and smoking weed for over a decade, and it finally caught up on me.
He's been vaping and smoking weed since he was 14. That's a crazy, crazy thing. Because yes, if your lungs haven't fully, developed, I would imagine that both of those tacked on top of each other could make your lungs collapse ultimately. Now, me, when I started vaping, I wasn't no damn 14, I feel like my lungs were developed enough. So maybe that's why that shit didn't happen to me. But I was scared of that happening. That's why I quit. If you're vaping right now, I understand your pain. You need to be working towards quitting though. You know what I mean? In the back of your mind, you need to be thinking, damn, I do need to quit this at some point before my fucking lungs blow up or some crazy shit.
And I have learned my lesson. Let's do a flashback to last Saturday. I work my 8-hour shift, and my girlfriend comes to pick me up from work. I work at the mall, so we decided to go eat at the food court before we went out later that night. Before we go to the food court, we go to the car so I can hit my pen and hit my vape, and then go get some food.
Damn,
so I'm hitting my vape.
You can hit your vape kind of anywhere. I don't know if you need to go to the car to hit your vape, but to hit your pen, I guess you're gonna hit the Benjamin and the vape at the same time to double. The double-handed Benjamin vape is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but hey.
And it causes me to cough, which is completely fucking normal, right? But then I immediately start feeling a horrible, horrible searing pain in the back of both of my shoulder blades. So I thought maybe I just coughed really hard and pulled something. That's happened before. So I carry on like normal, and we walk back to the mall. But very rapidly, the pain is just increasing and increasing and increasing to the point where every muscle in my back is tensing up on me. They're seizing up. I feel it wrapping around the front of my ribs to under my chest.
Shit.
And it gets pretty scary. So we walk through the first store we entered, and I find a little cushioned area for sitting, and I proceeded to pass out, full body pass out for like 20 seconds. I eventually came to, the sweatiest I've ever been, the palest I've ever been, even paler than I am now, and my girlfriend weighs significantly less than me.
Being paler than he is now is actually insane. That's crazy work right there. I'm not gonna lie.
So that was a pretty scary scenario. I barely make it back to the car. I'm like borderline yelling in pain, and at this point I thought like, what, did I slip a disc or something? What the fuck is happening? We eventually call an ambulance. They get there in about 40 minutes, and it takes me maybe another 30 minutes to get to the hospital, and then another 45 to an hour before I actually got a room.
Damn, nigga could have died 4 times at this point. I'm not gonna lie, that's terrible. Cause you called the ambulance. It took 40 minutes for the ambulance to make it to you. Your girl might as well just drove you to the hospital. Hey man. It what it is, I guess.
It's just burning in a hallway. So if this all sounds fun to you, by all means keep vaping, but you should probably stick around. I eventually get a X-ray, and I'm told that my left lung has collapsed. It is deflated, and I also have air trapped between my lung and my chest plate. So all of that is obviously not good. They take a scalpel and they cut between my ribs, they cut the skin and the muscle, and then they feed a tube through the hole to wrap around my lung to suck the air out of my chest cavity and to also reinflate my lung. I was hooked up to that tube for about 4 days. It just came out last night. Not only that, but I have gotten countless IVs put into me. Every 30 minutes, every night, I'm being checked up on my oxygen, my temperature, my heart rate. Really fun stuff. What really made me want to make this video is the team of nurses and doctors who've been helping me told me that in the past 6 months, I am like the 3rd or 4th person that this has happened to, around the same age, relatively young, but vaping.
In no way, shape, or form am I promoting people to be out here smoking cigarettes. But at least in the cigarette commercials or the cigarette videos of people saying how they sick, those people are usually kind of older. These are young dudes. He is 24 years old with a collapsed lung and a possibility of his lung collapsing again. That is crazy. But to understand this epidemic, we gotta rewind. When the Juul dropped around 2015, it wasn't marketed like a cigarette. It was basically a little USB device. It looked like one of those little flash drives from back in the day. It wasn't promoted like, here's some nicotine that's gonna kill you eventually. Not. They promoted it more as a healthier alternative instead of smoking cigarettes. But let's be real, there's nothing safe about inhaling smoke from a USB device. Each of the little Juul pods had as much nicotine as a full pack of cigarettes. Think about that. One little pod in one pack of cigarettes. That's a lot. And the bad part about it is you could hit a vape all day. You can hit a vape inside the building. You can hit a vape and nobody's gonna say anything about the smell. You can hit a vape just to hit a vape. In order to smoke, you gotta step outside. You gotta go for a smoke break. People are hitting these vapes way more than people ever hit cigarettes in the past. So that's just constant nicotine just pumping into your body, just constantly. And the craziest part about all this, they didn't target the 50-year-olds. They didn't target the older people. Instead, they went straight for Gen Z. Oh, come and get the cotton candy kind. Blue Raz, mango, grape ice. They literally disguised poison as candy, and these kids are eating it up.
It'd be so hard trying to figure out what do I want for lunch, knowing deep down I just want to vape. I just want my vape for lunch. That's what I want, and I don't have it on me because I'm trying to be healthy, but that's all I want. I don't want no food. I want a vape for lunch. That's what I want.
Not for nothing, I'm tired of these fucking vapes. Like, it's getting old. I'm tired of smoking batteries. And every time I lose that motherfucker, I just be like, where the fuck is my vape? Sister, calm down. It's giving fiend behavior. Anybody have any tips for quitting vaping or something? Cause like, I'm tired of this shit.
I can't help but to think about the fact that doctors used to say that if you smoke for 30 to 40 years, you might wind up lung cancer. But now we are looking at 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, that their lungs are literally collapsing. Teens are hooked up to ventilators, fighting for their life, all because they're doing something that honestly is just trendy. It's something that everybody else is doing. Kind of just like the little Beyblades that we used to play with when we were kids. Like, it's just something that's trendy, so everybody wants to do it. Everybody starts doing it. Now you catch yourself addicted to it. It's not something that you gotta meet somebody in the alley to go buy it either. You could walk into a store, and if you're not old enough to walk into a store, you could send somebody else to go get it. Yo, you could grab me one of these real quick. It's not that hard for them to get their hands on these vapes. They also don't understand the effects of these vapes. It just seems like a cool thing to do for the pastime, just like social media. And let me just be clear, the science that I've seen doesn't just say that vaping, it doesn't just irritate your lungs to the point where you're like, ooh, that feels kind of weird. No, the chemicals will permanently scar your lungs. Some of y'all are gonna have to live with reduced breathing for the rest of your life if you keep hitting that little small pink device. And ladies, not that one, the other one. And the addiction to vapes might even be stronger than cigarettes, because it's seeming like y'all cannot stop, because it feels so harmless versus a cigarette. From the moment you hit a cigarette, you know you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. But with the vapes, because they're fruity, because they just look like a little toy device, it's so accessible. 2,000 hits in one device. You'll be addicted to it before you even notice.
Vaping is not as harmful as cigarettes on paper, but because the odor is not as offensive, it's easier to hide. You could do it much quicker and get a bigger dose. Because it feels like it's not as harmful, many more people can get hooked on it.
Is vaping dangerous?
Yes.
Why and how? So many of my friends vape. I think three out of my 6 best friends, they're just like, they're just absolutely addicted. And they never smoked, interestingly.
That's the issue of it, that it gets people who maybe would have been turned off by smoking to try, and the chemicals found inside are really rewarding to the brain, nicotine being a prime example of it. And the more dangerous part of it is with kids who have a developing frontal lobe, meaning that the part of their brain that is responsible for complex decision making is not yet fully formed. So they're incredibly susceptible to anything that can build a tolerance, a dependence, an addiction to. And it could change the chemistry of their brain moving forward. So we don't want to make it easier for them to start smoking. Vaping should be used as a tool, as a way of getting you off of cigarettes, not as a way of introducing you to cigarettes or nicotine at all.
Is it dangerous for adults as well?
If you're coming off cigarettes, no, it's a good choice.
All my friends that vape never smoked.
Yep, it's not something that carries value health-wise and can only potentially harm.
Ever wondered what vaping actually does to your body? Because it's not just water vapor like everyone says. Let's start with your lungs. When you take a puff, you're inhaling a cloud filled with chemicals like nicotine, formaldehyde, and even heavy metals. Those particles go straight into your lungs and start irritating the lining. Over time, this can lead to coughing, shortness of breath, wheezing, and in some cases, long-term lung damage. And yes, popcorn lung is real. Now your heart, vaping hits it too. The nicotine makes your heart beat faster and raises your blood pressure. Over time, that puts a serious strain on your heart, raising your risk of a heart attack, even if you're young. Your brain isn't safe either, especially if you're under 25. The brain is still developing, and nicotine can mess with memory, focus, and mood. You might feel more anxious, more irritable, and more addicted than you realize. Vaping can also mess with your sleep, your hormones, your gut, and even your skin. Ever notice dry lips or more acne? That's not random. It could be your vape. And here's the twist. The more you vape, the more your body builds tolerance. That means you need more hits to feel the same effect. And that's how addiction sneaks in without you even noticing.
See, as somebody that does...
It sounds true. I'm not gonna lie, I've been sleeping better ever since I stopped vaping. Like I said, it's been about 1.5 years. But ever since I stopped vaping, I feel like I sleep better. I can take deeper breaths. I feel like before it was like I'm gassed, bro. I'm just gassed all the time. So I definitely, but I understand everyone's journey. Like I said, bro, it took me, I don't know, 7 years, 6 years, maybe 5. I don't know how many years it took me. But it took me a very long time to stop vaping. And I was trying for a while. And at one point, I just gave up trying. And I'm like, screw it. I'll figure it out when I'm older. And, as the years went on, I was like, okay, it's time for me to figure it out. And I did at the end of the day. So I hope everyone makes it through that journey also. But some people don't, bro. And it's tough. It's hard to stop vaping. Because you can vape anywhere, anytime. You know what I'm saying? With cigarettes, it's like the idea of smoking a cigarette only, like, you can only do it basically outdoors for the most part. So you know, when you're indoors, it don't really hit the same. But you could just hit a vape anywhere, bro. You could just hit a vape anytime, bro. I mean, while you sleeping, you have cold sweats. You having, like, you really going through withdrawals, bro. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, it's hard. And, you know, who knows if I probably permanently damaged my lungs and my lungs will just never be as good as it would have been. But, hey, it's life. And if you're going through vaping, this ain't to judge you, because I get it.
Doesn't vape or ever had to go through the withdrawals of quitting vaping, I can't tell y'all directly how to quit vaping. But what I can tell you from just a psychological standpoint, go to the root cause. Why are you vaping? Always ask yourself the why and why you are doing something, especially if you feel the need to do it to the point where you're questioning whether or not you're an addict. What is the reason? Are you escaping something or are you chasing something? You're doing one or the other, and then ask the why on why are you doing that. Once you figure out that why, now ask yourself, is there another way I can get this feeling by doing something that is healthy for myself? Or
no, right there, right now, like he said, he never had to go through that. I'll tell you right now, at the end of the day, when I stopped vaping, there was nothing that's going to give me that same feeling. You know, and I thought in my head, okay, if I find something else that could give me that same feeling. No, there's nothing else that's going to give you that same feeling, even though it isn't that spectacular. But there's nothing else that's going to give you that same feeling, and you have to understand that at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I stopped vaping. I started drinking more. It just is what it is. Stop vaping, started drinking more. Hey, I don't know what to say, bro. You know, I guess it's pick your poison at the end of the day. But it's kind of like you're not going to get that same feeling, and don't chase that same feeling, bro. Don't try to chase it through anything, through smoking weed, through alcohol, through any other drug out there, because any other drug out there is worse. So don't experiment there. But yeah, bro, just thinking about the reason that you're doing it, I'm doing it because I'm addicted to it, and I know that. And chances are you know that too, if you are addicted to it. So you just need to mentally prepare your mind to the point where you're kind of like, I have no choice but to stop. Like, I need to stop. And how you get to that level is slowly building your mind. You know, first it'll be like, okay, I'm not smoking, I'm not vaping on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I don't care. Like, I'm not vaping on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Boom, I still vape on a Wednesday or Thursday. I'm like, damn, I'm cooked. Okay, I'm gonna try to not vape for a week. Boom, you try to vape for a week, and you make it through the week. But as soon as that week's over, you're like, all right, I'm cooked. And then you say, okay, I'm going to just completely, like, cold switch. I'm done. Boom. You try to stop. You fail horrifically. And you're like, okay, I'm cooked. And then you say, okay, I'm going to stop for 2 weeks. Try to stop for 2 weeks. Can't. You're cooked. And after all those failures, it reinforces the fact that you can't stop. Like, you understand, like, this is really something bigger than I thought it was, because I literally cannot stop vaping for the life of me. So you just have to keep trying. You know, it doesn't have to be every week, doesn't have to be every month, but you just have to keep trying. And the more you try, if you're like me at least, every time you fail, it's going to piss you off. You know what I mean? Every time you try to stop and you can't stop, you're like, yo, like, I'm like, what the fuck? What? And then it pisses you off more until you get to a point where it's like, that's it, I'm done. You know what I mean? And even with me, what I told myself to quit is, I said, I'm not going to buy another vape. And I didn't. What I did was, I had vape pods, and I was trying to hit the old vape pods, bro. Had hella vape pods. And I was just trying to hit the old ones, because I was like, I'm not going to buy one, I'm not going to buy one, I'm not going to buy one. And then I kept doing that. You know, I started popping them open, trying to pour the liquid into other ones. Bro, I turned into a damn chemist. I was like, yo, I'm fiending. I'm fiending, bro. I'm tweaking. And then after I got past that, of like hitting old vapes just to kind of be like, do I feel something? After I got past that point, it was like, okay, I have to throw all these away. Threw all of them away. And then after I did that, it was like, okay, I got past the hard part. you know, trying to hit vapes that weren't doing anything. And because of that, I was able to get past the hardest part by hitting battery acid and thinking it's doing something. And then when it after that, it was a little easier. But it was hard. It was hard, bro. It was a very long process. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to feel like at ease until probably like 2 months in. Maybe like a month in, you'll start to feel a little at ease. But after like 6 months, bro, like I have literally no urge to vape. I can watch someone vape in front of me. I don't want to vape. And it's almost like I never vaped in my life, it feels like. But yeah, that's my story. And if that helps you, it helps you. You know, try to quit. Tell yourself you're not going to buy one, and just on everything, try not to buy one. And even if you're hitting someone else's vape or whatever it is, at least you're not buying one, and you just stick to that, and you may be able to, you know, get out of there.
Is there something I need to heal from mentally instead of coping underneath this device? Is there a better way that I can handle situations or high stress and my lungs don't have to take a hit? But I think somebody that has actually vaped can give y'all even better advice.
Some simple advice for day one when you quit vaping. Day one, start on a clean slate. Don't pick a day where you've already vaped in the morning, or you're going to be dealing with nicotine cravings all day long more than you have to be. Tip number 2, when you first wake up in the morning, be sure to drink a bunch of cold water. You want to get hydrated right away, and you want to start a new habit outside of waking up and hitting your vape. Tip number 3, get right to exercise. Do yoga, do cardio, lift weights. Exercise releases dopamine, and we have to replace that dopamine hit with something different in the morning. The best thing to do is exercise. Tip number 3, after you work out, focus on eating protein and fruit. Fruit is going to give you blood sugar spikes. A lot of people, when they quit vaping, suffer from low blood sugar because nicotine increases blood sugar. By eating fruit, you spike your blood sugar and you help to fight the fatigue and the brain fog that are going to be likely withdrawal symptoms of quitting vaping. Tip number 4, as the day goes on, immediately begin getting busy. This can be cleaning your house, cleaning your room, cleaning your car, or going to work. But find an activity and dive into it all day long. Tip number 5, try and avoid taking a nap. A lot of people suffer from insomnia in the first few days when they quit, and napping is only going to make that insomnia worse. The first 3 days when you quit vaping, we want to try everything you can to wear yourself down so you get a good night's sleep. Tip number 6, don't eat a big dinner in the first few days of quitting. If you shove your pie hole full of food, chances are that's going to lead to a higher increase of constipation, feeling of fullness, and a potential reason to wind up relapsing. Tip number 7, before bed, take a shower. This could be a hot shower or a cold shower, but do something to help you relax. Tip number 8, when the nighttime rolls around on day 1 and you've accomplished all these things throughout the day and your brain is telling you you deserve a reward, you deserve nicotine, dive right into a new hobby. This can be reading a book, it can be making music, it can be coloring. For me, it turned into editing TikTok videos and YouTube videos. But find a new hobby, something that you can do during the evening hours, and train your brain to crave partaking in that hobby versus partaking in a hit of nicotine. Bonus tip, quit on a day where you didn't consume alcohol the day before. Alcohol ruins deep sleep, and if you don't get a good night's sleep prior to quitting, quitting's going to be harder.
So there you have it, y'all. Stop vaping.
Hey, those are probably good tips, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If I was vaping and I heard those tips, I'm gonna be like, this shit ain't gonna help me. At the end of the day, if I'm gonna keep it a wow with y'all, with me, like I said, the biggest thing that helped me quit was me deciding, bro, I'm not going to buy a vape. Like, I don't care how I'm catching a vape. You know, my girl got a vape, somebody got a vape, I don't care how I'm catching it. As long as I'm not buying a vape, I already won one time. I won the battle. And then on top of that, I had so many old vape pods, this, that, da, da, da. And I was able to consume my time. It's sick. It's actually like brain rot. But I was able to consume my time looking for pods. Yo, that shit sounds crazy. But I was able to consume my time looking for vape pods and old vapes and trying to get the juice out of it and doing all this and all that. I consumed so much time doing that, and I probably wasn't getting any nicotine from any of that. It was just me like trying to get it to the point where I was like, I used up those days doing that, the most crucial days doing that. And then after that, you know, it's 6 days in and I feel like I'm gonna break. I went through every pod that I have. There is not a lick of nicotine left, and I still don't have anything, and I throw them all away because I'm just smoking batteries at that point. And it put me at a place where I'm already up. I was like, okay, it's already been 6 days. I haven't bought any nicotine. All that nicotine that I was trying to get, whatever, even if I felt in my head, I may have felt something. I didn't have any nicotine. I barely had any nicotine that whole time. I'm already starting 6 days ahead from what I would have if I would have just cold quit, because it would have been super tough, and you know, I probably just bought one. So that was my whole script. And then after I was at like day 6, day 10, I'm like, if I go back to vaping right now at day 10, I'm just starting over. And that shit was hard. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get through day 11. Okay, crap. Like, I could quit right now, but then I just throw all the progress away. Let me try to get to day 12. Let me try to get to Let me try to get to until one day things start to even out a little bit. And I'm in a place where it's like, okay, I've done it so long, I can't go back at this point. You know? So that's what it is for me, basically. All eating fruits and making sure to drink enough water, that shit would not have helped me. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
And put the vapes down. Y'all know I'm all about self-development on my channel. And in order for us to become the best us, we gotta look deep into all the vices that we have, all of the habits that we have, and ask ourselves the why. Why do we feel the need to do this thing, even though we know there's a downside to it? How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're addicted to that vice and you can't put that down, you don't have the self-control to put that down, you will not have the self-control you need in order to reach the next level. It takes a new you to enter that new phase of your life that you want to go to. So anyways, y'all, I'm actually fighting COVID-19 right now, me, my wife, and my son now. So pray for us right now. I'm going to still be pushing out these videos because, like I said, my surgery is next week. So there's a lot going on right now, but your boy is pushing through.
Tried it all. At the end of the day, you need to fail to succeed. So when it comes to vaping, you just need to keep trying, bro. Like, you just can't give up on yourself at the end of the day. As long as you keep at it, you're going to be able to quit however way you find it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if nobody told you today, I love you. Peace.